Shut it down in there! What the hell?
I got the Mac with the cheese.
Hey guys, welcome back to GunTalk. This is GunTalk episode 4, and today we have a special guest, a very, very well-known guest. It has really been an impact to my life and my career for outdoor education. We have John Annoni.
What's up, everybody? And I don't know how special I am, but I'll try to drop some gems on you so that you can carry them with you wherever your journey takes you. So I appreciate the kind words. The kind words, and it's flattering, really. You know, it's a humbling piece, man. When somebody that is younger than you seeks you out, you know. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Nice. Hey, it's truly an honor to have you. I know your work from it being applied, being observed by government agencies such as DNRs, especially the DNR of Wisconsin. Do you want to touch base on who you are and what brought you to this point where DNRs are watching what you do?
You want to know what's crazy, right? That I would have never dreamt that a DNR. Listen, growing up the way I grew up, man, DNR was kind of some kind of drug rehab, right? In the hood. So you know, for me to be blessed enough, where somebody says, hey, we want to learn about your journey, right? Because your journey may be valuable. You know, it's a pretty neat deal. So I am a full-time school teacher, right? So a lot of people think I'm just this black guy that takes little black and Puerto Rican and white kids from the city hunting and fishing. And I do have a full-time job. And then on top of that, I've been teaching for 32 years. On top of that, I've built an academy called CampCompass Academy that rewards inner city kids based on their efforts with outdoor excursions. Right, I grow kids by using the outdoors, and I'm also a principal investigator working with the National Science Foundation and Cornell University on a noise grant. And I'm going to slide this in there. It's kind of crazy, right? Because when we talk about noise, right, we're talking about noise pollution in the study. But the beauty about the outdoors is I'm able to give kids the absence of noise, right? The absence of noise. We're able, and everybody always wants to know, why do you go hunting and fishing? Why do you do this with people? Well, they're studying noise pollution, and I'm saying, well, here's a solution to it, guys. You know, and so it's been a great journey, and it's been a lot of work. There ain't no joke there. You know, there's been a lot of long days, a lot of long nights, but I hope that the path that we're trailblazing, and I say we, you know, collectively are trailblazing, will lead to a lot of opportunity that doesn't exist now.
Wow. That journey for you has given you, how many books have you written so far?
Ooh, it's, you know, I've written 2 and co-authored another one. First one titled From the Hood to the Woods, right? That's a story on my life, the way I grew up and found the outdoors. And then my second one, Beyond One Day, that's pretty much the framework and philosophy of CampCompass. And we titled it Beyond One Day. And I want everybody to listen to me very closely on this. Titled it Beyond One Day because we got to stop fooling ourselves to thinking that one weekend, one session with kids is going to make our heritage. And you know, the neatest thing about that, I've been a proponent of that since I've built my charity, since I've built my system. And you know, 25 years later, people are finally saying, hey, we need to do more.
Yeah. Right?
So you know, what I'm saying is the work that we've put in for the last 20 years is now being caught up to, but we've already blazed that path, and I'm hoping more people start to listen.
Okay. Tell me more about that path.
Well, you know, it's something when you know, the outdoors, right? The outdoors has and when I say outdoors, I'll say primarily hunting and fishing. And that's apples to oranges too, right? Because fishing is is so much easier to do than hunting, right? So you know, when somebody tells me, when somebody says, okay, John, you know, I'm taking kids fishing, I think that's awesome, right? We're working fishing, right? But that's like the gateway drug. That in our system, that's the easy road, because compared to hunting and firearms and killing, you know, there's two different arguments. So I would really ask that argument always be separated, right? While we are hunters and fishermen, or hunters and fisherwomen, whichever way we go, right? There's a climb in regards to the amount of energy that you have to expend to fit in with society, to become part of not that you want to be part of the norm, but to be accepted for who you are and what you believe and what you do. And you know, the journey for me, starting many years ago in a housing project, escaping some abuse, has led to a man who's paying his taxes, a man who's a loving husband and father, and has loved on hundreds of kids with the help of Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, and listen, and here's the thing. I promise that I'm gonna keep it real with you, because I owe that to you, right? It's so you're not gonna get this made up, quirky answer that I'm gonna read off a piece of paper, because you, as well as the people that are gonna listen to this, deserve passion, right? And deserve the opportunity to witness what it's like to be around a fighter.
Yeah.
Right. And I may not be in the ring per se, you know, an MMA ring or a boxing ring, but I'm in this ring of conservation, fighting, you know, to hold titles, and then fighting to make sure that I can give that knowledge back to others.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. I'm sure our listeners greatly appreciate it as well.
No, you know what? What the neatest thing is if I should be thanking everybody listening, because if you guys don't listen, if you guys don't give me time, if we can't engage with each other, then we can't learn anything, right? Exactly. And I'm not just saying that I'm the only teacher, right?
Yep.
But what I'm saying is if we don't engage, right, and we don't take the time to sit and pick apart things, then we will remain stale, and we will remain immobile.
True.
And when I say we, I don't mean we necessarily as a people of color. I mean we as a heritage of hunters and fishermen.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to come back to that we. I truly want to... You got me started. I had so many questions. I want to start off you as a little boy. Who was young John?
Ooh. You want to go there?
I want to go back to the hood.
Yeah, okay. All right, so young John was a kid who, you know, loved sports, right? Loved playing sports, but grew up. My grandma raised me, right? Didn't really know my dad, and my grandma raised me, and I'd have to go to my mom's house on the weekends. My biological mom's house. God rest her soul. Good woman. You know, for me, you know, that place, when I went to that place, it wasn't so nice, right? It wasn't so nice. So what I was able to do was, I found out there was a little adjacent woodlot behind this housing projects, and I found that if I went there, the animals, right, chasing starlings and rats, there were some dumps around. You know, if I went there, it took my mind off of what was happening in the house, right? So Mother Nature embraced me. You know, she was almost like a gang leader. I'm like, you know, because I even built my program off a gang platform. But you know, it's something where, you know, she embraced me, and I was able to get lost in her, right? Which many of us do. That's why we go out.
Yeah.
Right? And I was able to get that early, and then my grandma was lucky enough to get some scholarships for me to go to the boys club, a little camp called Camp Horseshoe. And I was always like the youngest kid around, even though I had younger brothers, but I was always the younger kid hanging out with the older kids. And when I went to Camp Horseshoe, there was a gentleman by the name of Bob Pellet who shot guns. And that's all I wanted to do was shoot guns. I was like, yo, I got to do that. I got to learn. Man, look at all these big kids doing this, and I was never allowed to shoot those guns. I wasn't old enough, right? I wasn't at the camper age that I was supposed to be. And then I finally got to that point where I was able to shoot that gun, and it was unreal. And it was unreal, not because it was like, wow, this was a gun. It was unreal because it was like, once I did it, I felt empowered enough to want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and that camp gave me the opportunity to keep doing it. And what happened is, because I wanted to keep doing it, I got better at it. Right? And then you get better at it, and then you start beating, because that's a great equalizer, right? When you get a tool that equalizes things, you know, somebody who's 8, you know, may be as good as somebody who's 9.
Yep.
You know, with a BB gun, right? With a bow. You know, and we see that a lot with our girls, right? Our girls start busting clays, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden, you know, there's this empowerment piece. Yeah. Right? And you know, so you know, learning about that and growing through the camp, that Camp Horseshoe, you know, it really grabbed me. So I was married into, you know, the woods by abuse, and into firearms by my grandmother having to get a break with me being away. Yeah. You know, because there was no other man, you know, so my grandmother counted on that to happen.
How far was the Camp Horseshoe from where your grandmother lived?
Bruh, you want to know what's so funny, man? When I was a kid, that camp was 1,000,000 miles away. Right. When I was a kid, that camp was 1,000,000 miles away, but in reality, it was like 14 miles away.
Wow.
Right. But there's this gap when you're young, right? When you get on a bus and it takes you someplace away, you know, and you don't know how to get back to it, right? Let's face it, you get lost in the woods, you could be 100 yards away from camp, but you feel like you're 100 miles away from where you're supposed to be, right? So, and that's where it was for me. Like, and this is what I find with the outdoors, right? This excitement to be able to give that back, right? Not only to kids, but to people in conversation and with ideologies and philosophies and data. It's a pretty neat feeling, because that's where the journey started, right? The journey started with abuse. The journey started with an opportunity to go away. And, you know, make no bones about it, there was love in my home, right? There was love in my home, but the abuse penetrated that love. You know, and I'll be honest with you too, people call me out. Sometimes my critics will say, oh, well, as a young boy, John Annoni was abused. That's why he went to chasing rabbits. Well, hell no, John Annoni went to chasing rabbits because chasing rabbits was fun. Yeah. Yeah, you know, and you know, so I can't allow somebody to paint a picture of the predator I am, right? Of the person and when I say predator, meaning, you know, coyote, fox, you know, in regards to having that talent, right? And allow them to paint that picture in a negative way, because it's not negative.
Yeah, you're writing your own story. You're not letting others write yours.
Yeah. You know, and that's the privilege we all have as Americans, right? That's the privilege that we have, that we get to write this story, because the odds of me pulling this off, right, are supposed to be slim to none. Yeah. But you get yourself around the right people, you get yourself in the right frame of mind, then you can Buster Douglas a lot of people. Yeah. you know, and that's where, for those of you that missed that Buster Douglas piece there, you know, that's who knocked out Mike Tyson. I'm just saying, I love Mike, but that moment was not supposed to happen. Yeah. Right? That was not, and moments for us aren't supposed to happen. But somehow we find a way with that fortitude, because of the belief in ourselves and the belief in what we're doing, to get things done.
True. 100% true. So that's your childhood. Kind of, yeah. We would say that covers your teens. Let's cover all the way up to 92, because in 1992 you started something really amazing.
You know, it was. You know what? I went to Kutztown University. Went to high school. Shot rifle in high school. Right? Was the high school rifle captain. That's crazy, right? Because we look at you know. But I just love to shoot. I was and you know. And then I went on to school, and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with my life. I wanted to be a social worker because what I wanted to do is I wanted to help kids like me. And then one of my uncle, who's a teacher, you know, he's a retired teacher, was like, you know what, John, man, let's really talk about this. And this is the neatest thing, right? One conversation changed my life, right? And that's why I don't think I'll ever stop talking, right? Because that one conversation could change somebody else's life.
Yeah.
If my uncle had not sat me down and said, hey, John, you want to help kids, wouldn't you get a bigger return on your investment if you became a teacher? Right, instead of a social worker. But all I knew was social workers, right? All I knew was that side, and anybody that was a teacher, I didn't want to be involved with.
Yeah.
Right? But they were nothing but a pain in the butt, right? They did nothing but gave me grades and nasty and so until he said, hey, if this is what you want to do, and you really want to help kids, well then I would ask you to sit down and take a look at this a little closer. And then from there we never looked back. Never look back, you know, and you know, went on and started teaching elementary school and loved it, but hated it because my kids were missing a lot of things, right? Missing a lot of things that I didn't have a lot of money growing up. I mean, I lived with my grandma. We had Jack, but I had the richness of people giving to me their time. Right?
Yeah.
And giving to me their love. And I mean, isn't that what we do as hunting mentors, right? And fishing mentors, right? We give time and we give love. You know, and I just
and some of them give up their secret hunting spots.
You know what? Let me tell you what. You know, and that's a real gift. You know, however, but let's keep that point real. You know, if somebody comes to me and shows me a buck that's, let's say, a 130 class buck and they killed it, like, I'll give them their kudos, you know, congratulations. Somebody comes up to me with a kid and says, hey, we killed that same deer. Well, guess what? You just moved up about 3 weight classes.
Yes.
Right? You know, that's a different beast, right? Because you can't compare what you do for you and what you do for others.
Yes.
That's, you know, and there's a lot of ego in the outdoor world. There's a lot of ego in the outdoor world. And I just figure the way that I trump ego is I let you talk, and then I ask you to show me your picture, and then I'll show you mine. Right? I sure enough can't hit you. You know what I mean? So I got to be able to give you something that makes you say, ooh, I thought I was good, but you know, there's better. And that's what I want for everybody. I want better for everybody. You know, so, you know, went on and started this program because the books just weren't cutting it. The books just weren't cutting it.
Okay. And now fast forward, your program has grown.
You want to know what's grown. I don't know if the program has grown as much as the people around me who believe in me. You know what I mean? Because yeah, we're helping kids and we're doing things, but I can't do that alone. Right? I got to count on guides, and I got to count on insurance people, and I got to count on drivers, and I got to count on people to provide snacks, and I got to count on people to provide electricity money, you know, and all that stuff. So my hat goes off to everybody that says, you know, listen, we're a squad, we're a team. What role can I play in this team so that we can keep winning this championship? So that we can keep sending these kids to championships. And that's been the beauty of it, you know, and you know, so while I was a little uncomfortable at first being the face behind it, I've come to the realization that that I need to be, because I've proven that I care, right? Yeah. And we've collaboratively proven that we care. And you know, while the Lakers might have LeBron James, he still has a squad. all the way down to his practice players. They're just as important. You know, and that's the way we run. That's the way we run our piece.
Nice. That's amazing.
Yo, and believe it or not, you part of that now. Yeah, you got me on this screen because think about that. What do, right? You do media. Your passion is putting a message out, right? Without you, this message doesn't go. I'll be sitting in here talking to myself on a blank screen. You know, so don't. This is to everybody listening. You know, don't devalue the gifts that you have. Right? Just put meat on somebody's skeleton somewhere with the gifts that you have.
Dropping jewels. We got jewels being dropped here.
Man. And listen, they're not going to cost anybody anything because they've already been paid for.
Yes. Exactly. So let's talk about CampCompass. I'm excited to hear more about CampCompass.
Yeah, CampCompass, right? So CampCompass, I knew I built CampCompass around a piece that I knew that just doing something once wasn't gonna do it. So before I was even gonna claim any success, and some of my people were tough on me about this. I knew it was gonna be like 4 years until I could get kids through what I call the full cycle. And you know, a lot of people are like, we need to see quicker returns, and I'm like, well, my kids aren't a businessman. You know, my kids are.
Yeah.
My kids. I'm working in a big school system, so I understand the flaws, right? I understand the flaws. So let me enrich the need. Let me give the kids back some. So let's grow them, right? And then we'll see some returns. And this is one thing that going with the CampCompass philosophy and the model, kids that are traditionally in the outdoors have been getting inundated with things since they've been come out of the womb, right? They're driving in trucks, rolling in camo, watching dogs, picking up feathers, and you know, those kids pick that up. So by the time they're 10 and 11, 8, 9, 10, and 11, they've got 8 years under their belt of grooming, right? You take an inner city kid who has nothing, right? It's my responsibility to figure out how to get that 8 years into them in a very, very short amount of time. You know, and that's where when somebody pats themselves on the back for taking their own kid, you don't get no extra credit for taking your own kid, man. That's your obligation. Yeah. No, stop it. I get it. I love you for doing it. It is necessary. It's what moves our heritage forward. But bro, you're not going to get no extra credit from me because you took your kid on a squirrel hunt. Yeah. It
should already be.
Yeah, that's your obligation. That's your child.
Yeah.
Right? It's that gift that we give to others who don't have that advantage. Excuse my phone. Don't have that advantage. That don't have that advantage that make it matter. You know, and that's how you grow. That's how we start to breed outside our kennel so that the kennel doesn't become dry.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, when I built this, they told me I was crazy. They told me I was absolutely out of my mind. In fact, I was playing, I'll never forget, I was playing competitive softball with a bunch of my boys that we grew up. We were too old to play baseball no more, you know, so we were playing, I was playing in a Dominican, right, the Dominican modified league. And I was in center field, and I was like, you know what, man, I got to tell these guys today that I'm not going to be playing ball no more because I need to go help these kids some more. And we were all around the keg of beer talking. I was like, yo, guys, it's my last game. They're like, what, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving to build this program. They're like, you're out of your damn mind, man. What's the matter with you? You know, and I got white guys saying it, black guys saying it, Puerto Rican guys saying it. Like, what are you, crazy, man? You can't do that, you know. And then I was like, no, I'm going to do it because this is what helped me. So I got to give that back. I was coaching basketball too, and I was like, listen, everybody coaches basketball. You know, there's basketball hoops everywhere. They got enough of it. My kids around here got enough of that. They need to get what. If somebody can benefit from what helped me grow, then that's what I want to give them.
Yeah.
You know, and so that started the journey. And man,
2 books later,
let me tell you,
many different
man,
organizations.
a bunch of awards, and the crazy awards, bro. And we giggle about it. Like, my family giggles about it. Cause they're like, but I must say, the awards aren't as much for me as they are for the team. Right? Yeah, I go, but I try to let people know that are rocking with me. Hey, if I get called upon, it's because of us. Right? Yep. It's because of, one of the neatest things about how long we've been in business is the role players in the organization have been very good, if not the best. Right? Because you'd be hard pressed to find the inner city hunting academy, where kids are actually shooting guns and killing animals, and then taking food, taking that meat, taking it to homeless, getting taxidermy. So we're a full circle. We don't just talk about it. We're a full circle in regards to, we start a kid, we grow a kid, that kid comes back and tells other kids, look, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. And I'm really pushing for DNR, rod and gun clubs, and the like, to start to embrace, what we call our 5 E's, right? And our 5 E's is a system that allows kids to grow over time. And only then do I really believe that we're going to turn this corner, because it takes time to make a hunter. It takes time to make a fisherman.
Yes. I'm trying to find... Perfect. All right, yeah, break down to us the 5 E's.
And let it be known that this was developed 25 years ago by me. So because I hear a lot of people talking these days, right? Because it's easy, it's easy, right? I don't mind people using it. I want people to use it. I want people to embrace it. But I also want people to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a big difference when somebody says, hey, we want to do this, right? And here's the expert in it. Other than saying, well, we've thought of this, and that's happened plenty of times, and my wife says it's my fault because I'm too nice of a guy, because I just let people have it. So let me let you guys have it now, right? So right, there's 5 E's that we use in building our kids, right? Or in building a hunter, right? We'll say building an outdoors person, right? That exposure level, that's your first level. That's where most of our events stop, right? Where kids get out for a couple of hours and they look and they go, okay, I realize that this exists. They get a letter saying that this event is happening, right? And you look and you go, okay, I know that it exists, right? You might have a youth field day, for instance, like, and that'll come by and the teacher will announce it, and they'll say, boys and girls, this Saturday we're having a youth field days. Well, you now have exposure to that existing, right? That exploration stage means that you go there. You don't know what's going to happen, but you're going there to explore, to find out. And that's typically where the outdoors programs stop, right? They let kids explore, right? They let kids explore, and then that's the end of the road, yeah. Right? And I always use this when I'm talking. I'm like, you hunt turkey, right? You hunt turkey?
Yes.
Well, let me ask you this. Our job, right, when we're hunting turkeys, is to get that turkey fired up, right? Get that turkey fired up and gobbling and all excited.
And come in my direction.
And once he comes in your direction, do you get up and leave?
Nope.
No? But these damn other people get up and leave. They get up and they get these kids all hot and bothered, and they get up and walk away from them. Those kids are gobbling away. I want more. And then we go, okay, I'll see you later. That's not the way we're supposed to hunt.
Yep.
Once we got them gobbling, we keep working them, right? So that's been one of my biggest pet peeves is, we go in the exploration stage and we get these kids all excited, and then we go, okay, we'll see you next year. Right? Can't do that, right? But now the kids who get to these events that have parents, right, that are already doing it, well, they don't need the system. The system's built in for them already.
Yeah. It'll continue. They'll become anglers or hunters.
Correct, because it's built in, right? Because when their kid is gobbling, guess what they do? They feed it, right? They keep working that bird, So for us, we had to figure out, once we get those kids exposed and we look at what they really want, that they want to be part of something, that they want to be, then we extend them over time, right? And I've had kids with me, you have to be with me 2.5 years before you're able to hunt.
Okay.
Right, because there's a whole dynamic of trust building and things like that go into it. But over that time, you're making up for those 8 years that you didn't have a family in the outdoors.
Okay.
Right, that we talked about earlier. So the extension is us holding on to kids, okay? Us holding on to kids that are allowing, okay, and allowing them to gain that knowledge and to gain that trust, so we can become that parent or that person that they trust in the outdoors, right? Once you start to grow them over a long period of time, when kids start to get ready for things, right? And our effective application stage is when kids actually start doing things, right? That's when we start to hunt turkey, and we hunt pheasant, and we hunt deer, and kids get to look at to do those things and apply what they've learned, right?
Wow.
And now and that's multifaceted too, because we may have a kid who hunts deer this year, we'll extend them another year, and they may hunt pheasant the next year, because if that deer hunt sucked, right, you just lost a potential hunter, right? So you got to be able to communicate with a kid and say, hey, what'd you think about that? If you didn't like it, why don't we try something else? Are you willing to try something else? Right? And then from there, example mentoring are my kids. They're not kids no more, but my grown-ups who say, you know what? I was in that seat where you were. And I know, Mr. Annoni, you trust Mr. Annoni, and you trust the system, and you trust the volunteers, but I want you to trust me too, because I was just like you. And that completes the cycle.
Wow. Yeah, that is amazing.
That's
how it should be done. It's with care.
Well, you know what? And you know what, man? It's only built that way because that's the way I was built. Right? And if it worked for me, somebody who's non-traditional in the outdoors, somebody who's of color in the outdoors, not that ever stopped me, but somebody that wasn't supposed to be, quote unquote, in the outdoors, right? If that's what got me there, that was the argument I made with my school district. If that's what got me there, you can't ask me to stop doing what saved me. Yeah.
And I can see my own journey fall into those 5 categories.
No kidding.
Yep.
No kidding.
You know how you said 14 miles was for Horseshoe?
Camp Horseshoe? Yeah.
Mine is Mackenzie Center, which is, Mackenzie Center is like 30 minutes from downtown Madison. It's
okay.
Madison's a pretty huge city for Wisconsin's sake. But Mackenzie Center was my saving grace. I just type in just Mackenzie Center.
And well, you know what? And big shout out to them, right? But they wouldn't know. Think about how many years ago you go to Mackenzie Center.
Yeah.
Right? And now you're now finally that rose that grows through the concrete. Right? They're not seeing, and that's the thing that bothers me too. Like this outdoor industry, this outdoor heritage wants to see this return. Snap, 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 snap. Man, you look at the return the Mackenzie Center is seeing now.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where we talk about we're hunters. We're supposed to be proud of our patients, right? But yet, we want it now. We want the numbers now. We want license sales now. We want and I look and I go, well, now would have been taken care of if you had taken care of them.
Yes.
So somebody
somewhere
dropped. Somebody somewhere dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to play catch up.
And we're probably going about it the wrong way.
Well, you know what? And let me tell you why I think you're going about it. Not you, but we're going about it the wrong way, right? Because everybody thinks they know better, right? Everybody thinks, even me, I think I know better. But I'm willing to sit at a table and put my cards on the table to prove that I know better. There's a difference, right? There's a difference. And I'm not bluffing. But I'm willing to bring my cards to the table. But when you come to the table with me, you darn well better have a set of cards too.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's so funny. You know, when I get around a lot of guys who do a lot of MMA and stuff, and they would talk about people who go and put on MMA gloves and think that they're MMA artists. You know, and it's like, just because they put on a T-shirt or a pair of gloves, and that's not what gets you there is the grind, right? What gets you there is getting punched in the face once or twice,
yeah,
right? Getting choked out, and I can tell you what, on this journey, I've been choked out a whole bunch of times.
What have been some of the challenges that you faced?
Oh, you know, the biggest challenge is time.
You
know, it's the big three, right? Time, money, resources, right? And you got to be creative in the ways that you do things. And I can tell you, time is money, right? And it's taken me, right? I didn't have no dad to teach me no business strategies or anything like that. You know, when we built this was a pure gift back to the heritage. And what I've learned now, you know, after 32 years in the classroom, another 26 doing CampCompass, Cornell University, and my ICBO Noise Project group have been really instrumental in letting me know the value of my time.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of disregarded it. I was always that kind of guy. Just get it done. Get it done. We're going to get it done. We're going to prove it. We're going to prove it. We're going to prove it. And that cost. You know, it cost me, you know, a portion of time with my family, friends. I don't get to stand much, you know, if at all. You know, I'm learning how to give back to myself now. I do feel guilty about it, you know, but I realize that you know, my journey, the path that I'm on, at some point is going to come to an end, right? So Cornell University has been instrumental in helping me realize that I can continue to help kids, right? That's been proven. Or I can kind of step out of my comfort zone and start helping adults help their kids, and then in turn help more kids.
Yeah.
Right. So they've been real good for me the last couple of years in regards to trying to get my head in a space where we can do more and do more good with me being able to protect some time.
Okay.
Right, because hey, them deer show up when they want to show up, right? So when I can't say to my wife, I'm gonna be home at 1 o'clock when I'm hunting with a kid that we might have to stay there till 6 o'clock. You know, so Mother Nature's on her own time schedule. You know, and now when you fish, right, a fishing head boat can say, okay, we're coming in, we're done fishing at 1 o'clock. Can't really do that with hunting. I mean, you could say, hey, I'm gonna go in. But the bottom line is once you're there, you've committed so much time to getting there.
Yeah.
That you got to go as hard as you can go.
As long as you can stay.
And we leave that up to the kids. But at some point, we need to make sure that the investment in our kids, like, and that's why we take them through these steps, right? So that, you know, if we have a day to hunt turkey, we grow a kid so that when he gets there or she gets there, they don't go, oh man, I want to go home.
Yep.
Because now what? You know, you just gave up a Saturday. Your partner just gave up a Saturday. The guy just gave up a Saturday for a kid that wants to go home. You know, so there's a lot of responsibility, a lot more responsibility involved in what people think.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at your website for CampCompass, and I'm seeing there's an e-mentoring.
Ah, yeah.
Tell us about that.
E-mentoring is very simple. E-mentoring is very, very simple. Like, I've seen some online e-mentoring programs, but listen, I can't mentor a kid unless I really get to know that kid.
Yeah.
So what happens is I want to always afford a kid that I'm involved with the opportunity to reach me.
Okay.
Right? And if they can't reach me by phone, if they can't reach me, by an email, they can always send something through the website. So kids have my phone number, kids have, the camp email address, but we look and we say, we like to give 4 or 5 avenues for a kid to reach, right? Because if a kid spells my name wrong, right, John Annoni, they miss an N, and they're like, wow, the message is bouncing, Mr. Annoni, the message is bouncing, right? Then they say, hey, if it's easier, just go to the website. Get me there, and we'll hook up, right? So we always give, there are no excuses for not being able to have somebody reach you.
Nice. That's amazing. I see there's a donation tab here.
Yeah, and you know what, man? I don't even talk about it. I don't even talk about it. Don't even talk about it.
All right.
And
I'm gonna come back here though, but for sure.
I don't even talk about it. It's somewhere. Yeah, and I appreciate. Listen, I appreciate just so you know. I appreciate the angle that you tried to take there, man. But I look and I say, you know what? Our work speaks for itself, and our family will continue to grow when people are moved by the message.
That speaks for itself. That's volumes right there.
That's probably why I'm broke. Right, that's why I'm broke. That's why my wife's like, because even my 22-year-old kid, be honest with you, my 22-year-old kid right now is like, and he'll say this quite often, I'm not going to be like you, Dad. I'm not going to give it all away. And I'm like, but son, that's what I've been called to do. You've been called to do something greater than me, right? Because I cut that path for you, so you've been called to do something great. So go do your thing. But this is who Dad is, right? But the gives back. I'll tell you what, when I cross over, man, there's this, nobody knows this, but there's this combination lock at that gate up there, right? And they give you these 3 digits. Yeah. I'm going to tell you what. I just, the 3 right there, going to be a lot of people up there twisting and turning. That's what their hell is going to be. To be like, I have the right combo. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
This has been an amazing conversation. I've learned so much about you, the journey that you've taken. I had one last question. Well, actually, it's 2 questions. How does a kid who just stumbled across this become a hunter? And then how does an adult who just stumbled across this also become a hunter?
Okay. Let me clarify by saying my intention was never to build hunters. My intention was to build good people. And I think that's what separates me. And I think a lot of people get pissed off at me because I don't get all caught up in the hunting numbers. I get caught up in the good people numbers. So how does a kid get around good people? Right? They find rotting gun clubs and they find organizations. Right? And then how do adults get involved? They make their organizations so good and so valuable that people trust them with their children.
That's solid.
Doesn't matter what it is. I could run a Parcheesi club. As long as I've proven to the community that I'm valuable. Okay? Then what happens is that the community will continue to gift you their most prized possessions.
Which are the kids.
And that's why I say I don't do it for hunting.
Wow.
I owe Mother Nature, but I owe the community, I owe the human race a better opportunity to grow. And hunting is part of the good part of the human race.
Yeah, definitely is. If you're an adult, though.
I know I talked a lot, man.
No, man, you're good. You're good. Real quick, I do want to plug in a resource that many DNRs have, especially the Department of Natural Resources for the state of Wisconsin. If you go to their website and type in LearnToHunt, it'll take you to a page where you can actually learn the steps and process to actually become part of a LearnToHunt, which is a sponsored event sanctioned by the DNR. Really cool feature for the state to do.
And I'm sorry, but I got to do this, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? If I type in Learn to Hunt, right? Is that going to afford me one day? Is it going to afford me more than one day? Is it going to afford me multiple opportunities? Is it going to afford me a place where I can feel comfortable? Or am I going to have some,
it's pretty much a one-hit event.
you know, so we need to work on that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So instead of somebody saying, hey, we had 100 people out this weekend, I'd rather have say we had 10 for a whole year, right?
That's
You know,
hard.
yeah, you know, because it's something where our heritage we should not sell short by making it a business model.
Mm-hmm.
Our heritage and our children are much more important than that.
Agreed.
You know, and I'm not saying, hey, listen, I applaud it for happening. I applaud it, right?
But there's more.
But
This isn't the...
but that's the thing is, listen, I want you to taste all the flavors. I want you to win. That's all. You know, I just want you to win.
Yeah.
And but if you're gonna win, you're gonna do a lot of damn sit-ups for me, right? Because you're not going in the ring out of shape, right? So that's where we are. And I might be this crazy kid, you know, who started an awareness campaign for hunting, right? You'd never think that we were able to start an awareness campaign for hunting with some data, you know. But you know. It always seems like the kooky, crazy people aren't discovered until they're dead. You know, so you get me while I'm still alive, would you?
All right, man. With that, we're gonna end this one. Man, it's been a pleasure. We definitely got to give you your roses while you're here, because you've definitely you blazed trails for so many people, including myself. And the lessons and the jewels you just dropped now, hopefully that'll be taken by our listeners and those who stumble across us and applied to not only their daily lives, but to big institutions like DNRs. Right? They need to hear this. What you just said
Well,
is, I mean, a lot of these agencies, they promote these programs, but there's no longevity of them. You know, they're not on that 5 E's, right?
right. And you know what, I look and I say, hey, listen, the only thing we can all do is take deep breaths, small steps, and keep momentum going. Right? And with that, we need to be inclusive, right? We need to continue to move forward as a we. Okay? You know, that Viking ship goes because everybody rows.
Yep.
You know, and you know, that's what needs to keep happening. And if my voice needs to be that unifying voice, then so be it.
Thank you. Thank you for your fire. Thanks so much. Peace.